6, determining and adopting the budget for fiscal year 2012-13. Mr. Neese, Mr. King.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. As you know, this is a culmination of a several-month process that began in late spring and culminates tonight with the public hearing and resolution to adopt the respective budgets. In your packet tonight is the 2012-06 resolution, which codifies the adoption, and the attachments are the schedules that are given to us by the Auditor General. When we advertise for the budget, this is what goes into the advertisement, is those respective schedules, and you'll see other communities which have a more expansive schedule than the town of Carefree. As you know, the town of Carefree does not have a property tax, so our schedules are somewhat smaller than some of the neighboring communities. This is adoption by the respective departments in the town. We've discussed in detail many of the projects, capital assets, and other investments that the town will be making over the last year or over the next year this spring. And I think we have reached consensus on council with those respective investments.
Last chance from the public. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. Back to the council. Are there any final comments before I ask for a motion? Councilman Van Allen.
Mayor, I'm going to just say one more time, what an outstanding job I thought that Gary and Jim did, bringing the budget together, fighting through every line item, all the way down to $100 line items. I have constantly, for the last 3 months, been addressing page 22. I had a meeting, page 22 is about talent marketing. I had a meeting last Tuesday with Joe Grimmel at her request. And Joe and I had a very good meeting. One of the items that I kept asking Jim and Gary for was some backup to the line item called Christmas Festival, which in her initial budget, one page to the mayor, she asked for about $68,000. In our budget now, it's about $76,000. Joe doesn't have any explanation to me between the difference of 68 and 76 round numbers. And when I asked her why she didn't submit a breakdown of the budget like she did last year, the line item, very well done. It totaled 41,000 and change. This year she's asking for 68,000 and change. She said no one asked her for it. She said she would do it. She'd try to have it yesterday so that it could be distributed to council to look at. I talked to her yesterday afternoon, and she had to go out of town and didn't get it done. I'm not going to hold up voting for the budget because of our lack of transparency on this one item. But I think it's unfortunate, and I really feel very badly for our citizens that we can't get an explanation to back up an expenditure of $76,000.
We go to the motion. Councilman Miller.
I'd like to address the comment, which I think is not necessary, about transparency. Sounds like the old council. We've got a citizen, Joe Gimbel, who works her butt off for that Christmas festival. And Jimmy, as usual, you want to micromanage and nitpick. You're wrong. You're wrong. It is transparent. The numbers all come out what she spends. That budget is based upon, and you know it, on the donations that she gets. If we don't get the donations, we don't spend it. Let's tell everything.
To take exception to the lack of transparency. The staff and I have explained multiple times to you why the budget is what it is for the Christmas Festival. Everything that goes into the Christmas Festival runs through the town. Every expense is listed on our check register. Your comment about lack of transparency is disingenuous at best. I take great exception to it. Next one, Christmas festival.
Any questions on the Christmas festival? There's $20,000 earmarked from the general fund. There's festival fees. The vendors pay $100 to the town to enter and become part of the festival. We're estimating based upon our historical attendance of these vendors, approximately 125 vendors, so 12,500. We have a residual donation balance of $9,470. That takes us up to a total amount of approximately $42,000 of hard money. We don't know what the anticipated donations are going to be over the course of the next fiscal year. And obviously, it's only as good as those people pounding the pavement and getting people to donate in cooperation by some of our corporate partners. But we're anticipating if we don't budget for a figure, we can't spend that money. So we're budgeting on the high side, $35,000. We might receive less than $35,000. If we receive less, we cannot spend more than that $35,000. So that's what I call the soft money there. And the big question mark is how much we will receive through those donations. The total there is approximately $77,000. Does that imply that we will be spending $77,000 on the Christmas festival? The answer is no. We know we will spend approximately $42,000 because that's the hard money committed towards the Christmas
But
festival.
we didn't spend over 9,000 last year.
Correct. That 9,000 was the residual. So the uncertainty is the anticipated donations, and depending upon how they come in, the festival and the opportunities with the festival will increase or decrease.
One thing I think always in the back of my mind is, in the budget, you're setting a bottom line, and we can't exceed that in expenses. If we put in a budget that's too small, and we get money in, we'll do this coming year, and we want to spend it, and we haven't built a big enough budget, we can't. But the deal on this one is, if they don't get the money, we're not going to spend it. If they do get the money, we have the capacity to spend it if we want to do that. That's why the $35,000.
Is your fear that we're gonna spend, it'll come out of the general fund?
Unless we have leadership of this group or certain parties of this group that have the guts to say, ma'am, you can't spend that kind
Why
of
didn't you
money.
answer his question? His
Yes.
question was, are you afraid it's gonna happen that
Yes.
way?
Okay.
It can't. Next question.
But hold on. We will split this into,
What do you, that's the Christmas festival?
Guys, let's not make it a bigger argument than it is.
we
You
still
passed
have,
the Christmas festival?
I
Or
support
what?
Yeah.
You are?
Mayor, could you?
We
Am
can't
I
do
mad
this.
at it?
No, are you against?
order,